What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the local meta report here in St. Louis, Missouri. I am Brad, aka the Mayor of Lorcana, and co-host of the Rules of Villainy podcast. I need to apologize up front because I am congested. Allergies are hitting me as we are in the false fall era of the Midwest weather shifting, as my fiance so accurately described it today, or I think yesterday is when she said it. I'm like, that's true. We're going back into the 90s next week, and just the weather shifting has got me down, but I am dedicated to bringing you the latest and greatest in Disney Lorcana decks from week to week here in St. Louis from all the stores that fire off Disney Lorcana. In fact, this time even we are in a new era where we have core, constructed, and infinity, two formats for the first time in Disney Lorcana, and one store is going to be firing infinity on Wednesday nights starting this week at the collector store. If you're interested, please check that out because I would like to talk about that. We'll try to implement that in here as well. The primary focus is going to be core constructed right now as we most of the stores fire core constructed, and we are approaching the first Disney Lorcana DLC in Milwaukee at the end of October. So hope this video is insightful. Hope you find some ideas. And if you have any comments or things that you suggest, a lot of the people whose decks are featured in these videos are active in the community and would probably love to hear them and would love to work with you. So leave a comment below. And yeah, let's just jump into it. We'll have a little bit of house cleaning at the end of the episode. So I hope you stick around, but let's jump into one of the 6 decks that we have for you today. And that first deck comes to you by way of the Reckless One from Team Rules of Villainy, Ron. 3-0 at the collector store. I put a question mark on it because him and the next deck that you'll see, his wife Brit, were the top 2 battling it out for the esteemed honors, and decided, if I know Ron as well as I think I do, they decided to go get dinner instead of playing each other. So I'm going to show you both decks that potentially could have gone 3-0, and it's not going to be anybody surprised if you're in tune with the meta at all. We're starting with Blurple. This is Ron's Blurple. I think I don't know if it's card for card, but I do know at the beginning of the week he was running Zenulus's version from Team Maelstrom and the event that was last weekend as well. So looking at this right now, looking at the 6/1 drops, he's looking for the Basil is a new addition in this set, which is something I've been toying around with as well since everybody's been putting him in. The support on that Basil is very, very good. The 2 drops, of course, you're always looking for that ramp on Blurple with Tipo and Sail the Azurite Sea. Vision of the Future has made its way into Blurple too. I never ran Vision until currently when card draw is friends on the other side is gone now. So every opportunity that you can get to dig through your deck and draw a few cards, one from Vision, of course, is always good. But then Dumbo, the hottest card in the meta right now. Everybody wants their Dumbos. If you listen to the podcast, you won't be surprised to know that Rules of Villainy is not too hot on Dumbo, but maybe we're wrong. I don't know. It hasn't proven itself very effective yet. It always been in my inkwell for the most part. I've only got to do the ability once, but I understand the power that it can have if he's unchecked because of all the evasives in the deck that we have as well with Genie and Iago and Elsa and TikTok and so on and so forth. Second star to the right is a good card draw option. You can sing together, and one of Magic Feather to give anything you want evasive. Another way to make Dumbo effective is making Tipo evasive if you want to draw your card and gain 1 lore as well. But other than that, a lot of this has been a traditional Blurple. The bounce package is gone now for the most part, but a lot of people are toying around with Elephant, which is a card I've always liked but never really found its place when Fox existed. So Elephant's making its way into the meta as well. And then my favorite card of this, something I toyed around with when it dropped in the Azurite Sea, was this Baymax, the legendary Baymax. And whenever you play this character, he's a 2/6, quest for 2. And whenever you play and quest him, you can heal up to 2 damage on one of your characters and gain 2 lore for that damage, 1 per damage healed. So I know Zen said on Twitter after the event last weekend that card itself probably gained him 30 lore by itself over the weekend, which is incredible. So I love to see cards like that working. Just another way to move damage or remove damage along with Bell, who can move damage from your side of the board to the other. But overall, Blurple is finally getting its place at tier 0 in the meta. One of the big 3 right now is Blurple, and I never thought I'd say it. It's always been a rogue deck, but very, very fun to play, and now everybody's playing it and doing it well because it has legs. Very, very, very good. 4 of the hypnotic strength as well. I should mention that because that's an easy way to get rid of the illusions in the mirror match, and the emerald. Wow. I told you at the very beginning, I am going to be messing this up for the most part. The amethyst mirrors because of all the illusions, in which we have the Iago here. But hypnotic strength, if you don't want to give one of your characters challenge, you could just tag one of the illusions and immediately make it go away on the other side of the board. And you still get to draw a card for it. So very, very good card. Very good deck. Congratulations to Ron on your potential 3-0. But given the next deck, you'll see why I may be skeptical. And that deck belongs to Lady Brit herself, of course. 3-0 possibility going into her husband on Tuesday night at the collector store. I suspect this deck, I'm sorry, Ron, would have won. This deck has been a menace the past week. In fact, the reason why I led into this slide the way that I did is because today, as I am recording this, Brit she was one game away from top 32 at CCS in the main event, and then she top 4 split the ladies event today, and just absolutely, she said in our Discord, she is now attuned to this deck. Like, she knows it like the back of her hand, and I believe it after a full 2 days of CCS and probably all the practice leading up to it. She's just a great player. It's weird. I'm gonna say right now, Britt, it's weird seeing a deck with less than 5, 8, 12 birds in it. You do have 4 birds, so your identity is still there. But congratulations to you. I do believe you would have beaten Ron on Tuesday, and we can fight about it later on. We can. Uh, I'll win. Just kidding. Kidding. This is going off the rails. Let's talk about the deck. This is a deck that we've seen be very prominent in the past week in all the major events, and for good reason. The drawing that you get from the amethyst, the bird replaces itself, the Cusco replaces itself. The GD always draws you a card. What's the most spiciest card in here, and finally getting her due since debuting in the Azurite Sea, is this Yzma. If you can get her on board and she survives, you exert her. If you have fewer than 3 cards in your hand, you just draw cards until you have 3. So a lot of the time, if you what I saw in my experience with another deck that we're going to talk about here shortly, is she'll come out, they'll play everything that they possibly can, and then just exert her to refill with 3 cards. It's just a bigger dock that we have up there at the 2 slot, where you play him, you can ditch your hand and draw 2 cards. And a lot of times he comes out when you have nothing in your hand and you just draw 2 cards. So this deck is constantly replenishing itself. Calhoun is out there daring you to turn something non-evasive sideways so she can get 2 lore off of you. The Giant Cobra, you can't stop that if they can discard a card. The White Rose gets you an instant lore. And then, yeah, the one thing I would maybe change, I don't know how effective Pete has been for these players, but there's not a lot of action-heavy stuff right now. The Pete has been a card that has been strategically played to stop be prepared and other key moments where you come to expect certain actions at certain times. And there was this whole package was bounce Pete and repeat was the amethyst steel thing for a long time. And I think we're going to slowly see him kind of take a back seat for a little bit, because he doesn't have a whole lot to do besides go into the inkwell, from my experience and what I've seen so far. But maybe I'm wrong, and maybe I haven't seen enough. But ultimately, congratulations to potentially to Brit on Tuesday, probably, and today at CCS. Just an overall great weekend for you. Couldn't be happier for you. Can't wait to see what you do for the rest of the set. All right, moving on to Manticore Game Shop out in O'Fallon, Missouri. We have Linc going 3-0 with Blue Steel. My little Blurple protege has went back to his roots, and for good reason. I don't blame him, because I'm actually playing around with a deck like this as well, and it all centers around this new legendary Scar. He is a 5-cost uninkable that gives all your ally characters +1 strength, and his ability, Stick With Me. At the end of your turn, if this character is exerted, you may draw cards equal to the strength of chosen ally character of yours. If you do, choose and discard 2 cards and banish that character. So Scar, finally king, getting his due and building a whole deck around that aspect. And what's really cool about it is there are some wacky things you could do with support to give an ally character, double-digit strength, and getting that kind of draw power is absolutely insane. And what is the streamlined way of doing that? And it's a little Christmas dreamland, but it can happen based on the way that all the deck ramps in certain flavors. This Alice, former legendary Alice, now a super rare in the reprints of Fabled, she gives everybody on your board support, and whenever she has 10 or more strength, this character this character quests for 5. So sometimes you might not give her that strength on the support because she's not an ally, so you can't use that to do the scar effect, but you can use everybody else to support a Tipo, for example. Give him 10 strength, banish him, draw 10, discard 2. Wacky things can happen with this deck. The one that the version that I am running right now runs the Jasmine package, which looks for allies in your deck, and then the Pleakley comes down on 3 or 4, however you want to do it, to double ramp that Jasmine into your Inkwell. Of course, we got Plinkly here in this deck as well. No shift targets to double ramp with, but he is a great card to come down and give you a little bit of extra ramp anyway. Get extra use out of that Tipo has always been my mindset when Pleakley debuted, was that Tipo ramps you when he's played, and then he ramps you again if you're running Pleakley as well. Even though running a 3 or playing a 3 cost on 4 after ramping or on 3 after ramping doesn't feel great, but you do have a couple 1-drops in here to make up that 1 ink with the Captain Hook and the Happy that is evasive on turn. So going through the rest of the deck here, it's everything that is mostly in mine as well. He's got the Mr. Smee 2 cost that is a 3/2, just big strength on that character. You got the Genie 3 cost 3/4. The Lawrence comes out as a 4/4 until he has damage on him. Ben is a card that's really fun right now, especially in this deck with the 4 strength. Just everything on here. The one thing that I'm not doing that I'm actually really happy for Linc to throw in here is this Aurora Dreaming Guardian, giving everybody else on the board ward while she is available. You get 2 of those out there, you're going to be in trouble because there's no be prepares or nothing to be able to target these characters anymore. You can't do anything about these characters until they turn sideways, or you have like a B King Undisputed or something to make the player choose who they are banishing. But the most fun part of this deck is ramping quickly, getting that big tink out quickly. Vincenzo is so fun to play on turn 5 in my Jasmine version of this because he comes out, he smash on a body. When you play this character, you may deal 3 damage to chosen character, and he's a 2/8, so he sticks around for a while. And Pluto in here just to protect everybody as long as he can because he's the goodest boy. But congratulations to Linc. I can't wait to see where Blue Steel goes this set. I feel like it's taken a couple of sets off, and we just saw in the Ink tournament, it took down the Infinity championship there, the Infinity tournament, and now I think in Core Constructed it's going to find legs as well with something like this, and Linc is starting that path in week 1 of Fabled. So congratulations to Linc. All right, moving on to Bodach's games on Thursday nights, where I was trying to get the first 3-0 of the Fabled era myself. Got stunted by Nick here with his Amethyst Steel, and in a very close game. We went to 3, and I think I lost by 1 or 2 lore at the end of it, but they were very good games. I was running Blurple. He was running this. The only difference here from Brit's deck that we saw on Tuesday is the 2-cost Madam Mim Tiny Adversary. She has Challenger 1. She's a 0/3 Challenger 1 and gives everybody else on the board Challenger 1. I don't think he ever turned her sideways. If he did, it's because my board was empty and he could do it safely. But for the most part, I think her utilization is get her out there, boost everybody else up for favorable trades, and he did it very well. It doesn't need to turn her sideways because he's just controlling your board and can do it safely when he chooses. The only other difference is Jafar Aspiring Ruler, 3-cost inkable, 3/2, quests for 2, and gives somebody Challenger 2 on the turn that he's played. Other than that, there might be a few number differences than what we saw with Brit's deck, but this deck got it done in 3 very close matches. I was so happy to be playing him. He's a very good player. And Amethyst Steel is going to be a problem for a while. We're going to have to find ways to beat the mirror or deck that just gets it done otherwise, because I don't know what it is currently. We are still very early in the meta, but if you look at any tournament right now, you're going to see a lot of purple steel, a lot of blurple, and a lot of amber steel that's moving very fast. In fact, we're about to move into one right now. All right, moving on to the Collector Source second league night. On Friday night, we have Dylan going 3-0 with his Amber Steel, something he's been running for a while, and we are one step closer to a Princess deck. I'm going to call this a Princess deck for the sole reason that the 3 cards I'm going to talk the most about is or are princesses, starting with this one drop Aurora that dropped with Fable. She's a one cost 1/2 quest for one, and whenever this character quests, the next princess or queen character that you play costs one less. That enables the Tiana to come out, the restaurant owner that's been around for a little bit but not seeing a lot of play. She's a 1/4 quest for two, and whenever a character of yours is challenged while this character is exerted, the challenging character gets -3 strength or -3 strength this turn unless the player pays 3 ink. And so she's not effective on turn 2, but getting her out a turn early might be better. I don't know that that's the play. I'm not going to pretend that I know how this deck works better than Dylan, but that Tiana, let me tell you, has been a problem across the board. I ran into Nick's daughter. Lily was playing it Thursday night. I was lucky, so lucky to get through her in game 1 to even get to Nick in game 3 or round 3 because of this Tiana. When the double Tiana is out there, they stack and it's impossible to deal with them. With the 1/4, you have to have the strength on the board already to deal with them. Luckily, I found all my Into the Unknowns to get her out of there. There are methods to readying her, like Dylan is smart to run this Sven in the deck for the mirror matches that he's expecting, because he can ready the opposing Tianas and then start to do his work to control their board. Sven is a 4-cost inkable 3/3 quest for 2. Whenever you play this character, you may ready a chosen character. They can't quest or challenge for the rest of the turn. So he's simply just a ready character, any chosen character, not just yours, and allows you to get beyond or behind that Tiana effect if you need to do some control. So I do like that. But what Dylan told me was the MVP of this deck that night was this Snow White Fairest in the Land, a promo from the previous set as well, where she comes out and she quests for, she's only a 2/2, so she's able to be dealt with pretty easily if you have hard removal. She's a 2/2, a quest for 2, but she can't be challenged. So if you don't have anything on the board or anything in hand to deal with her hard casting, then she's just going to keep questing because there is no way to challenge her. You could have your 4/3 Rhino out there, or something ridiculous that deals with a 2/2, a simple 2/2, but you can't target her. You can only, or no, you can't challenge her. You can only target her. So that being said, looks like a pretty solid deck. Congratulations to Dylan on the 3-0. I am not excited to play against this, but we'll see what happens. And finally, rounding out this week in Disney Lorcana here in St. Louis, I wanted to include this Emerald Sapphire top 4 finish by Zachary by way of Impact Gaming Center 1K this past Saturday. It was a going away party for our friends Nettie and Tim, and this was a deck that we had our eyes on. We got to stream it in the middle of the Swiss rounds. In fact, I got to cast it. Unfortunately, it was a short cast because he went up against a hyper aggro Amber Steel that also made the top 4 split with him. But in the top 8, we got to watch this deck do its thing in a intense match against Blurple. And it is a deck that I think everybody needs to be aware of. We've been talking about Baja Blast for several sets now, and now I think it actually has legs. It is the only color combination, or at least Emerald is the only color that has a board wipe in the game, and what better to compare it or to pair it with Sapphire, which allows you to ramp to it very quickly and get your big hitters out there very fast. You got your T-Pose, your Pleakleys, your Sail the Azurite Seas, and then just a bunch of cool cards to do a lot of cool things for the entirety of the game, right? We got all 3 Clarabelles in here, being the first 2 being shift targets for the big Clarabelle is what everybody's expecting to see. What she does is she comes out, and at the end of your turn, if your opponent has more cards than you draw as many cards as them. Everybody knows what Clarabelle does. Another big 7-cost inclusion here that kind of counteracts with Clarabelle in a way is this Basil, Undercover Detective. He can, whenever he is played, you may return a chosen character to that player's hand, which is great for the Clarabelle synergy at the end of your turn. But on your next turn, he is also discarding your opponent at random if he quests. So if you're still looking for draw and have both of those out there, one, you got 2 7 costs out there, you got to be late in the game. So there are some instances of that where we were, or I think even Kirsten talks about it on the stream, where the anti-synergy there that works. But really cool card. Happy to see that get in play. I highly encourage you check this out on our stream. I have it timestamped. I have it linked in the description below. But yeah, the 2 cards I want to talk about that kind of enable the Under the Sea, this pouncing practice. It's a 1 of action, 2-cost inkable action. You could choose a player to get -2 strength that turn if you need to hit something bigger for Under the Sea. And then another Sing Together song, Heads Held High, is a Sing Together 6. And we move up to 3 damage from any number of chosen characters. And then all opposing characters get -3 strength this turn. So Under the Sea is in the best, one of the best places it's ever been. And I think this deck absolutely has legs. I would have loved to see the tournament get played out and see if this could have topped the 3 other decks that existed in the top 4, but we won't know. We'll never know from that tournament, but I do suspect we will be seeing a lot more of this deck. Zachary played it very, very well, and look forward to seeing what he does with it in the future. So congratulations to you. That's going to do it. That's going to wrap up the first week of Disney Lorcana here in St. Louis during the Fabled era. Couldn't be more excited to be here to give this to you and celebrate these great community members and their success throughout the first week. Fabled is proven to be very, very exciting. We had a great first weekend of sealed and pre-release events. The first couple weeks of events here, but locally and wide, we had team members traveling out to Atlanta. We saw locals up in Maryland at Inc. Just so much happening. And Denver's coming up next week. Everybody is super excited about Disney Lorcana, and we couldn't be more excited here at Rules of Villainy. Thank you for tuning in. If you like this kind of content, please hit the like button, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications for any kind of content that we provide here for you on the channel. Of course, we have the podcast proper that comes out on Fridays. We have this video that usually comes out on Mondays. Andy and Kirsten get together and do deck test Tuesdays, where they take your, suggestions at times and like, hey, can you try this deck out and see what you think about it and give us some tips and everything. And that's proven to be very successful. And they're having a lot of fun doing that. Vince has been wild on TikTok. He has an awesome pack that he wants to open. So go get a bunch of, he's opening Disney Lorcana packs all the time, but he is looking for more subscribers and more interaction over there at TikTok. Go visit him. I'm sure he would love to hear from you over there. He does have one of the tops Disney packs. I don't know what it's about, but I know that there's some really expensive cards potentially inside it, and he really wants to open it for you. So go give him some love over there. There'll be a link for that in the description and all of our socials where you can join the Rules of Villainy and be part of all of this fun that we're having here. As I said in the intro, a little bit of advertising here. I myself am going up to Detroit here in just a couple weeks, the weekend of September 26th for the Glass City Showdown. I am privileged enough to be invited by Dakota from the Legends of the Inkwell to cast with him, Luke Wonderland from Team Maelstrom, and JD from So Shiny TCG. It's going to be a blast. They're having an 8K on Saturday, a 5K on Sunday, a kids event even, which is near and dear to my heart because I love seeing the kids, the younger generation of the Lumineers playing this game and having fun with it. So check that out. If you can't make it up to Detroit, at least tune into the cast, say hi. I would love to hear from you and get a little bit of support from you for that. The following weekend here locally in St. Louis at Impact Gaming Center, they are having their set championships. And it's not just a normal set championship. Of course, all the rules of the set championships are going to apply. You're going to get your beautiful Maleficent play mat for the first place. The top 8 are going to get the beautiful Christian Romero art of that Maleficent dragon promo enchanted. And I think the first 40 get the participation card for that as well. In addition to that, and proper Rules of Villainy fashion, we are providing all kinds of additional prizing in a raffling system that we have done in the past for enchanted promos from the last several set championships. We've had donations of the Alice Enchanted and other playmats and all kinds of other stuff that we are going to be raffling away, just ramping up the pricing so everybody gets something really cool for just being there and playing Disney Lorcana that day. The most important prize, though, aside from the set championship stuff, is first place is getting an enchanted Elsa. Impact Gaming Center is providing an enchanted Elsa to get you guys in the door and playing at their store. And it is a great store to play, great play space, great broadcasting equipment. And we can't be more thankful to be a part of that. So check that out. Links in the description for everything that I've mentioned tonight. And if I don't have it in there, tag me, let me know. I will make sure that you are aware of it because we want you there. We want to see you. We want to play Disney Lorcana with you, and we want to have a blast doing it. So that being said, I know this was a very long video. I'm just excited to be back here giving you this kind of content. And until next time, happy questing.